Hello, it's Tom Donald from the London Contemporary School of Piano. Today, we're going to talk about 251 and why every musician needs to know about 251 chord progressions. And by the way, if you're a fan of our work at the London Contemporary School of Piano, you should visit our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, to get your free resources kit as well as the 251 crib sheet, cheat sheet for 251 chords. You need to get that sheet because it will accompany the series of videos that I'm going to be putting out over the next few weeks on this topic, because there are so many different ways to approach 251 chords, and really you need to know about them. 251 chords will bring you so many benefits to your playing. It will help you understand how so many jazz progressions work, pop music progressions work. But the biggest benefit of all, which is often understated, 251 progressions often will bring, for so many pianists, greater fluency to your chord progression playing. And that's often the thing that's holding many piano students back that I see. So when we work on these progressions in different ways, we start to see some big improvements. So today we're going to look at 251 chords. More of it's a starting guide, more for beginners and intermediates, or people that just need a little bit more clarity on what is a 251 progression, what's the fuss all about. So we're going to start by constructing a 251 progression in a couple of different keys and actually seeing where they fit in the scale and why is it called a 251? Because a lot of people just get confused. They what does 251 actually mean? So if I'm in C major, you'll notice I have the notes in my scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the octave. Now, if I turn all of those notes in the scale into the 7 primary chords of that scale, there are my chords. I have chords 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So chords 2 is here. This is our 2, 5, 1. So that's a 251 progression in its most rawest triadic form. And played in this way, it's perhaps a little bland, but it just gives you the absolute overview of what it exactly is. It's a 2, it's a 5, it's a 1. So what's the big deal about this? Why does this matter? Well, let's just listen to the way that cadence of music resolved itself and prepared itself for resolution. And there's a really deeper, important musical point about this, because all music we listen to, all Western music that's tonal, has this function to it. We have a chord that starts us here, the 2. Now this is a minor chord. In this case, it's a D minor. Chord 2 is always minor. So we have our minor chord here that prepares us for the next chord, which is the dominant chord, chord 5. And the dominant chord then resolves to chord 1. And we have a sense of resolution. So we have this chord 2 is a dominant preparation chord. It's a chord that's preparing us for the dominant chord. We land on the dominant chord, and then the dominant chord leads us to the tonic, chord 1, the first chord. It's a bit like a musical story in a way. We have a chord that leads us to a pivotal point here, which brings us to an inevitable resolution. You know, there are pages and pages of music that is being composed that basically is just doing that. We might be sitting in this world of... Then finally, we land on here. And then finally, we resolve. And some composers know how to draw that out over minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes, potentially hours of music, which is quite remarkable if you think about it. But this is the motion of a 251. So many people practicing a 251, it will feel counterintuitive because they're thinking, I'm going to play a 251 in C major or G major or whatever key they're practicing it in. And they'll think, I'm in C major, I need to start on a C. No, we're starting above the key, the root key, in this case C. We're starting on the D minor, which leads us to the G major, which resolves to the C major. So that's the overall architecture of the 2-5-1 progression. And we can locate this in other scales. If I take a scale like F major, well, my 2-5-1, remember 2 is minor, is G minor. 5 is major, C major, and 1 is major, F major. And let's just choose another key. What about A major? Chord 2, B minor, chord 5, E major, chord 1, A major. So to see what this looks like in all keys, you do need to head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, to get the resources kit so you can see what this looks like in all of the different keys. It's a bit of a crib sheet, a cheat sheet. You can hang it around your house in different rooms. Get this into your mind, into your concept of the chord progression in music. So 2-5-1s aren't all just that. There's much more to them. We can dress them up in so many different and exciting ways to get these really lovely, beautiful, lush voicings, or we can have cleaner voicings that you would have perhaps in pop or some classical music as well. So 2-5-1 can be dressed up in all sorts of different ways. So let's explore that a little bit now. Now, let's just take jazz as the standard here. In any jazz composition, really most jazz that we'll hear, there will at least be a seventh placed on these 2-5-1s. They won't just be clean triads like this. The seventh chord, or I should say seventh dissonances, are probably the minimum type of dissonance for a lot of jazz piano. In fact, seventh dissonances can be expanded to ninths, can be expanded to 11ths. It can go into all sorts of wonderful and colourful musical directions. We're just going to start with the sevenths because this gives us some really good theoretical understanding of how to construct seventh chords as well. So going back to my trusty C major as a reference here, I now am going to turn the D minor into a D minor 7. And I get this. I'm going to turn the G major chord into a G7. Not a G major 7, a G7, which is short for dominant 7. See, it's a dominant chord, and this is the dominant 7. It's not a G major 7 like this. It's a dominant 7 on chord 5. And you can hear with the dominant 7, it pulls us back to chord 1, which we're going to play then as a C major 7. So on the 2-5-1, we get all three functions of seventh chords. We get a minor 7 chord, a D minor 7, a G7 chord, a dominant 7, and a lovely, lush C major 7 chord to resolve. I'll just play that one more time. Let's do this in a couple of other keys. What about in the key of G major? I'll do G major one more time. Let's be a bit more adventurous. What about E flat major? So E flat, chord 2 is going to be F minor, 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7. You could dress it up a bit by arpeggiating into different octaves as well. It already sounds like I'm in a cocktail bar now, doesn't it? I should just put my tip jar on the piano, shouldn't I? So this already sounds very familiar, these concepts. We've heard them in so many songs before. Now, the next thing then we want to do is use some sensible inversions and shapes. And I'm going to be making a series of videos on 2-5-1. That's because many of you would have noticed we've hit a very important landmark on this YouTube channel. We've hit over 100,000 subscribers, and that's thanks to all of your support over the years. And it means a great deal to us as a school. So thank you very much. And our way of saying thank you is this 2-5-1 series that we're putting on for you. So we're going to have a series of videos over the coming weeks on this topic. I'm just going to give you extra homework basically to say thank you. Yeah, some sort of thank you, hey? But you're going to get a lot out of your playing. And I've seen this help so many of our students here in London. So this is a great way we can share all of the great things that we're doing with our students here with you right now. So I'm going to be going over a lot of other concepts, but we're just going to get started today. We're going to get grounded with the 2-5-1s. And you could be already getting that lead sheet from our website and working through these chords in different keys just to get your fingers there. And you're not running a race here. You want to take your time. You want to be very thorough about this. You want to just go through this in a couple of different keys. Just choose 2 or 3 keys to start with, maybe a 4th key, and then add a different key every week. Getting through all 12 keys takes time, but you do want to add rather early on in the process, in the practice process, some inversions, because you're quite limited by playing them all as root chords. And here's a really nice starting point that is such a good foundation for inversions and just a nice shape. We have our D minor 7. Now watch what I'm doing here to get to my G7. I'm going to drop the top 2 notes. And that's a G7 chord. See, it's the same as that. I've just got these 2 notes down here. So that's a really nice, elegant voicing and switch. Just dropping the top 2 notes, and then I'm just going to go to my C major 7 with no inversions, and it's all really nicely contained. So that's a shape you can immediately apply to your 2-5-1s, and you can do this in the left hand as well, because we're going to need to play these 2-5-1s in our left hand as well. Now, when you practice these 2-5-1s in your left hand, you do actually want to use inversions. I often encourage students not to use inversions in their left hand as much when they're playing pop music, but when playing jazz, use of inversions and rootless chords and these other devices are quite important in the left hand. But here's one important guideline to remember. Don't drop that left hand too low. Don't make that mistake. You can hear what that does. It just sounds so muddy down there. So you need to have the left hand in a more central, higher position on the piano. Around the middle C region. You can even have it up here. You can have your left hand around middle C. Nothing wrong with that. You've got plenty of space in your right hand to start improvising. That sounds great, doesn't it? But you can have it here as well. Let your ear be the guide. There's no exact rule of a cutoff point. People often ask me, is there a cutoff point? What are the rules? There aren't really rules in music. There's just principles, things that work well. Use your ear. That's the key here. Trust your ear. Your ear knows much more about music than you might think it does. So we can use that nice inversion in the left hand as well. Okay, let's try this. Let's play this out in a few more different keys. What about F major? So we start on the G minor. And I can improvise some F major material in the right hand. What about G major? Whoops, I made a mistake there. My first mistake of the day, hey? But what did I do? I did this. So I didn't play a G major 7 there, I accidentally played a G dominant 7. Perhaps if I wanted a more bluesy effect, that could be okay. So that's how I would compensate for that. But what I was targeting was actually this. I wanted the G major 7. Goes to show in jazz, when you do make little slips and errors, you've got to turn them into opportunities. So I just went all bluesy. Dominant 7s tend to sound bluesier. Major 7s tend to sound schmoozier. Schmoozy, bluesy. It's a good way to remember. Hey, let's go back to that G major again. So A minor 7, D7, G major 7. You've got to embrace mistakes. Mistakes are great things. They're great educators. When you embrace mistakes, by the way, and you're prepared to make mistakes and you're prepared to enjoy the process rather than trying to reach a destination. I'm going to switch to E flat major, by the way, while I'm doing that. Yeah, if you're prepared to do that, enjoy those mistakes and see what it teaches you, your whole relationship with the piano changes. You're not so tense anymore. You're not like, oh, did I play the right or wrong note? It's not such a binary thing anymore. It's more of a palette of opportunities, of musical opportunities. That's what we believe the piano is at the school. That's why I founded the London Contemporary School of Piano all those years ago, because with the exam system with piano that we have in the UK here, often people get a very transactional understanding of what music is. Did I play the right note? Did I play the wrong note? But that's not what music is about. Music is an experience, a much deeper experience than that. See, I'm just practicing my 2-5-1s now. I've taken them to the left hand. I've added a couple of riffs in the right hand based on the scale that I'm in. And we've got some more videos coming up soon where we're going to explore more improvisation techniques on 2-5-1. This is your kickoff 2-5-1 video to get you started. It's part of our 100,000 subscribers celebration we're having right now. So get started on those 2-5-1s. Do head on over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, to get the free resources kit that accompanies all of these videos on our YouTube channel, as well as this video. The file that you're looking out for in the kit, it's got a very simple name to it. You want to guess what it is? 2-5-1. So get that 2-5-1 crib sheet, print it out, put it all over your house, put it everywhere so you can see it looking at you. It's going to really improve your chord fluency. We're going to be playing a lot around with these chords over the next few weeks. So good luck with your practice, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.